Hi, my name is Lynn Tincher. I'm a Reiki master and founder of the Trauma Healer and the Trauma Healers New You program. I have a genetic heart disease that's called Brugada syndrome, also known as sudden arrhythmic death syndrome. The syndrome can kill me in my sleep. I've watched myself flatline once when I was in the hospital, and after the episode, I do have a defibrillator which recorded everything. I found out that that had happened 104 times. So I call that my awakening day. I went on a search for holistic healing methods because I was on several different medications, other medications I couldn't take because of medications that I was already on, or because of the Brugada syndrome that I have. That you would be surprised at how many drugs there are in the market that messes with your heart. So I tried to find a holistic way to deal with this, and I found several ways that worked. So I developed the New You program based on all the things that I've learned along the way. So I've been there, I've done that, and I want to be able to help you to deal with and learn to cope with some of the things that you might be going through. So first of all, what is PTSD? PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a mental health problem that some people develop after experiencing or witnessing a life-threatening event like combat, natural disaster, car accident, or sexual assault. There's many other ways that this can happen too. For instance, mine was watching myself flatline. There's, anything that causes you any bit of trauma could potentially cause PTSD. Just know that it's absolutely normal to have these feelings, to feel on edge, to have trouble sleeping after this type of thing. All of those things are normal. It's your body and your brain trying to process what happened to you. The problem is when you go through a traumatic experience, it gets stuck. It's stuck in your head. Your brain can't process it. We'll go through this a little more later on, but just wanted you to know that that's completely normal. Also pay attention if it's been longer than just a few months and you're still having symptoms, you may really have PTSD. For some people, PTSD symptoms start months or even years after the fact if something triggers your memory, or causes the feeling over again. Also, you may cope with it for a little while and then it may return. PTSD is a bit of an animal. We're going to learn a few techniques in this presentation. Obviously, with an hour-long webinar, I can't go through everything possible to help you with PTSD, but hopefully I can get you started on the right path. There's several different types of PTSD. One is reliving the event. This is one of the things that I really suffered with. I constantly, for months, thought about death. I couldn't do anything without thinking about death, or seeing myself flatline, or being terrified of every little thing. When you relive that over and over again, it's called a flashback. Sometimes you may do it every day, all day long. Sometimes it may be once a week, once a month, 3 times a year. It depends on you and what you've gone through. Another type is avoiding situations that remind you of the event. I'm trying my best to avoid the hospital, but some of the other things could be, you tried, if you were, say you were assaulted at a concert, and you try to stay out of the public, or, just you're involved in a car accident, you don't want to get in a car ever again. So you try to avoid these things, and you don't even want to talk or think about them. Another way is having more negative beliefs and feelings. The way you think about yourselves or others may be because of the trauma. You may feel guilt or shame. I talked about this a little bit already. Or you may not be interested in activities you used to enjoy. You may feel the world is dangerous and you can't trust anyone. You find it hard to be happy. You're just negative. You just want to curl up in a little ball far away from everyone so that you can protect yourself and nothing can happen to you ever again. The problem with that is you don't get to live your life. You're miserable. So you need to find a way to get past this. And you can. You just have to take control and you can find a way. Another type of PTSD is feeling keyed up. It's called hyperarousal. You may be jittery, you're always on alert, you get upset and you punch a wall, you have trouble concentrating, you're irritable, you start picking up bad habits like smoking, using drugs and alcohol, or driving recklessly. You don't want to do things, or I should say, you do want to do things to hurt yourself, because maybe then you feel something, or you feel worthless, so you don't care what you do to yourself. What other problems do people with PTSD experience? They may feel hopeless, shame, or despair. For me, and I'm sure several of you that have ever been sexually assaulted, probably, and I have several years ago, you feel shame. You don't want somebody to think bad about you, or you think they look differently at you because of something that happened to you. You may feel it's your fault. Um, you just may feel that you will never, ever, ever get past this. You go through depression or anxiety. I did both of these as well. I wanted to stay home. I never wanted to do anything. Anytime I felt anything in my chest, even if it was like an air bubble in my chest, I would have a panic attack, because I was so afraid of going back into AFib and flatlining again and not making it again. Another problem, you may, like I said a few minutes ago, you start drinking or pick up drug problems. Anything to make you feel numb and not cope. Physical symptoms could be chronic pain that comes from being in a constant state of tension. Your levels of adrenaline are so high that it causes you issues. It causes employment problems because you're not thinking clearly, or you're in such bad shape that you don't want to go to work half the time, or you're being too irritable and you're not getting along with your employer or with your coworkers. Causes relationship problems, including divorce, because you don't want to deal with anybody, not even your partner, and sometimes your partner just doesn't understand. Or you don't know what PTSD, or how to get through it and how to work through it together. In many cases, PTSD treatments can cause other problems because they're often related. The coping skills that you can learn in treatments can work for PTSD and these related problems. So sometimes counseling is hard, especially if the traumatic experience is shared between the two or caused by one or the other, whether or not it was intentional. Sometimes you're working through unintentional problems like accidents and things like that, but you may harbor some ill feelings or some fear of the person that's involved with you. First thing you can do is to nurture and heal your brain. So in order to heal your brain, it's important that you get vitamins and minerals. Your brain will actually heal faster if you make sure that you're getting these vitamins and minerals. Be sure to research your brands, though, because many vitamins and minerals on the market are not pure, or they don't have what they say they have in them. So make sure you research the vitamins and minerals that you want to take. Here's a list of a few. Omega-3 fatty acids that's found in fish and plant foods helps rebirth brain cells. This is very helpful if you've had brain damage associated with this. They're also known to combat depression and enhance memory and learning. Vitamin B12 enhances the brain's neurotransmitters and helps the brain better use the food you eat. The best place to find vitamin B12 is in nuts and grains. The sunshine vitamin, vitamin D, the one that we're all deficient in during the winter, can help fend off Alzheimer's disease. It, combined with calcium and phosphorus, promotes nerve cell growth and improves memory. So get your vitamins, guys. Your brain depends on it. Another thing that you can do that's really hard, really hard, trust me, but you can do it, is taking control of your mind. Trauma-focused psychotherapy, which focuses on the memory of the traumatic event and its meaning. It's the most effective way. There are different types of trauma-focused psychotherapy. This, of course, involves a counselor, a certified counselor, or a certified life coach in cognitive processing therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy. This is where you can learn skills to understand how trauma changed your thoughts, and it changed the way that you think about things. And if a trauma changed the way you think, then you can change the way you think again and help you get through this. Another one is called prolonged exposure. This is part of what I'm doing right now that still helps me, is to keep talking about your trauma. Talk about it until the memories are no longer upsetting. This helps you get control over your thoughts and feelings. You also go to places and things that you thought were unsafe. because you've been staying away from them because they remind you of your trauma. But go there, realize the trauma is not happening to you again. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing involves focusing on sounds or hand movements while you talk about the trauma. This helps your brain work through the traumatic experience. Because what happens in your brain, and I'll go over this again here in a few minutes, is when trauma happens, your brain gets stuck. And the way your brain works is that a thought has to go from the right half of your brain to the left half of your brain and back again and back again. And as it processes, it has to hit both the logical and the creative sides of your brain. What happens is when you have a traumatic experience, it gets stuck. It gets stuck on one half of your brain. It's not going over to the other side and coming back so that you can process the entire thought. So when you work with hand movements and sounds, that can help, and I'll go over this again, can help move that thought with the hand movements and sounds all the way across your brain and back, so that way your thought actually can get processed. And it's amazing how much that works. And there's a few techniques that I'll go over with here in just a second. Again, the eye movement helps your brain work through the traumatic memories. Fear and rage. These are two of the biggest parts of PTSD. Fear, even though it plays an important role in our lives, is a response to danger. When you experience fear, your brain activates the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems to alert your body that, hey, there's danger. We've got to find some way to do that. That's happening because your heart rate increases, your blood pressure increases, your muscles get tight, you're more sensitive, your listening's sharper, you're smelling things, your pupils dilate, you start to sweat. Rage, on the other hand, is an irrational response to the fear. With rage, you attempt to attack someone or something else, like kicking the dog or punching a hole in the wall or breaking your brother's nose. Just the stress of the post-traumatic stress disorder that you have is coming out. And there's ways that you can learn to go deal with that as well. So how do you know when your fear and rage are out of control? Here's a list of questions. If 2 or more apply to you, you may have a problem. So do you have doubts about your ability to control your fear or anger? Do you lose control of your temper and say things or behave in a way that is beyond your own standards of safe conduct? Do you try to hide your anger only to have it explode? Do you avoid people and situations where you lose control? Do you harm animals or children? Do you obsess over your fear of losing control? Do you forget about your anger even if someone tells you about it? This is when it's called like blind rage, when you go through and you beat up somebody and you have no memory of it whatsoever. You see red, you black out. Do you have nightmares every night? Are you afraid of yourself? Do you feel like a monster? Do you feel flooded with memories of being extremely afraid? Are you in a highly anxious state and you don't know why? And do you ruin objects or act aggressively, like punching walls, throwing objects, and driving aggressively? Again, if you pick 2 or more of those, you may have a problem. There are several desensitization techniques that can help you. Meditation or hypnosis helps you separate the event from the reality. There's a lot of different meditation techniques. You can find some online that help you be able to see your trauma as if it was something else, something from a distance, or hypnosis may help you get to more of the underlying issues that can help you then see and separate yourself from that. There's a technique where you imagine you are afraid. Imagine what you're afraid of, and you don't stop until the fear leaves you. You live in that fear for just as long as you can until the fear just abates. I know this sounds really harsh, but it's one way for you to get through it and realize that the fear is not rational, that you're stuck in a pattern, that you can move on and you can deal with the fear because the fear is not real. You will most likely have to do this one more than once, and it can be painful. So if it gets too painful for you, stop. Don't push yourself, but get you to the point to where you can do this. Don't stop and be able to get through it. Aromatherapy is another great way. Choose a smell that's very powerful for you. Clove, peppermint, eucalyptus, for example. Peppermint especially is very strong, and it's a pleasant smell, but you can it can kind of snap you out of things, which is basically what you're trying to do. So you think of your stressful situation, and as soon as you reach your peak of fear, when you're absolutely terrified or whatever it is that you're at your worst, take a huge sniff of the peppermint or whatever scent you choose. Your fear will go away. And it works because the brain will stop all other cognitive activities to focus on that strong scent. It snaps you out of it. Cognitive behavioral therapy is another way that you can look at your fears and decide what's real and what's not. You can answer the following questions. Is the situation or worry real? Is there a chance that it could happen? Or is there a chance that it could happen again? In some instances, there are, like for me with my heart disease, it is real. It can happen again. It most likely will happen again. But for most things, like if it was a sexual abuse when you were a child, that's not going to happen again, most likely. There's other life-threatening situations. You were in a car accident and it was horrible, but it's most likely that you're not going to be in another one. Is it to your advantage to worry about the situation? And this one got me worrying about my heart. It's going to stop again. It's going to do this again. It's going to do that again. It doesn't help me to think about that. It doesn't help me to worry over that. My body is going to do what my body is going to do, and I have no control. So there's no sense in me wasting my life and thinking about what could happen. I need to move forward, go on with life, be happy. If it happens again, deal with it then, but just keep going. One way to, and some of this is going to sound kind of crazy, but one way to do this is to reestablish your inner compass. Your internal compass is, for most people, it's pointed in a positive direction. For maybe most of your life, it's pointed in a positive direction. But with PTSD, when you've gone through something, you're pointing in the wrong direction. You need to get it reset back to your true north, back to the positive. With PTSD, you're constantly, all the things we discussed on how you're feeling, that's the direction your inner compass is pointing. The goal is to realize that you're a part of something bigger than yourself, and you have a role in this journey. You are the only one that can do it, and you can do it. One way to do this is there's 2 steps. Step 1 is you find that mission in life. You rediscover a purpose for you still being here. And if you can't, there's a way that you can. The Native American Indians would call this a vision quest. You lived for a reason, after all. Step 2, after you realize that you need to take this vision quest, you find a place to be alone. Plan for 7 days of it, just being alone with you, but you need somebody that'll check on you periodically, make sure you have food or water. But do nothing but listen to you. No phones, no computer, no man-made distraction. You can have a journal. You can write about things. Just spend some time for you. It may take 7 days. It may take longer than 7 days. But you can do this. It may take 3 days, but plan for 7. Whatever it takes until you finally realize why you're here. Some other great ways to deal with PTSD is stress reduction. Reduce as much stress in your life as possible. This is the thing that I did, and it really helped me, is I made a list of all the things that I was stressed out about. Find the things that you can control and eliminate those things. For me, it was being in a high-stress job. I owned a business. I had to break away from that, so I had 2 partners that I sold the business to because I needed that stress away from me. Another stress was some chores around the house that just hadn't gotten done, get them done. Or if you have decisions to make that are looming over your head, make those decisions and move on. Don't stress about them. Just do it. So there's a lot of things that you can actually take control and get rid of. There's a lot of stresses out there that you can't. Like for a lot of instances is money. Everybody has money troubles. So there's a lot of instances out there where you can't control, but you can take some control. And one of the things you could do is learn how to deal with the stress that you're under on those things that you can't control. One of the things, especially for those, that really helps is to find a way to relax. Reiki healing, which is like on hands or distance healing, where you relax and listen to music and heal while you're relaxing, and meditation are two great ways to do this. You can go on vacation, take a day or two, go fishing, go to the spa, get your nails done, just different little things that are relaxing to you. Listen to music, do aromatherapy, start doing all those things that you enjoy like that as much as possible. Using hobbies to retrain your brain. I'm going back to the point that the brain processes information from the right to the left side, left to the right side. When trauma happens, the process is that it gets stuck, so we got to get moving again. But hobbies and tasks that use your hands can fix this. Find something like coloring, the adult coloring books. Those are great. Writing, woodworking, anything that actually uses your hand. And as you do these things, think about all the trauma that you've been through. Your hands work on something creative. It forces the thoughts to go from one side of the brain to the other. Your experiences travel with those thoughts and allows your brain to fully process them. Do this as often as possible until you feel better. Have you ever gotten lost? You're painting a picture and you've gotten lost in what you're doing, and you look up and 6 hours have gone by. This is what you want. This is the kind of thing that helps you to deal. Meditation is, as I mentioned earlier, a great way to relax. But there are guided meditations that help you deal with what you're going through, and they're everywhere on the internet. You can find them. I have some on my website. They actually talk you through processes, like you see yourself in a distance, you see people coming to you that you want to break free from your life. You can cut cords with those people. There's just a lot of different things that meditation can do that uses visualization and realization to help you cope and feel better. When you do meditations, don't forget to set your space. You want to make sure that you're not interrupted. You can even meditate in the bathtub or play music, burn incense, candlelight, whatever it is to help get you in a good mood, because you want to be able to relax and focus. So make sure that you're not distracted. Turn your phone off. Make sure it's during a time that people aren't going to be running in and out of the house. And know that your body heals best when it's at rest, your mind included. I did a little talk the other day about your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the part that runs your heart beating, your breathing, your digesting of food, and it's the part that, if you cut your finger, it's going to send all the platelets and blood cells to your finger to cause a scab and help you heal. The same is mental. You can mentally heal your mind by convincing your subconscious that you are okay. One of the techniques that I used is every night when I go to bed, I would say to myself until I fell asleep, I am healthy. I am healthy. I am healthy. I am healthy. And that little mantra, that little meditation started to work. I started getting weaned from medications. I started feeling great. My heart is behaving like, I'm just so happy that it's doing as well as it is. One of the things that this can do is it helped me lose weight because, I am healthy. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to do the things. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to do the things that takes care of myself because I am healthy. All those things happen because I helped convince my subconscious mind that I was healthy. There are local places that you can find that offer up meditations. There's Buddhist temples and centers, and some people there will actually learn to help you meditate. You don't have to be Buddhist. They accept all forms of life, but they can help you and just even offer you a place to go that's quiet, that's away from everything else, so that you can relax and think about things. There's also like some new age shops that'll have meditations every so often. You can go to those, or like I said, look online, find some guided meditations that you can listen to on YouTube. There's just so much information out there for meditations that helps. One of the things that I really do along with this is I keep a journal, and I do an awful lot with journaling, and I teach a lot about journaling, is writing all your thoughts down. Get it all on paper. Write down your results of your meditations. Write down what you learned in your meditations, what you saw, what you did. All of this thing will help you relive it, and it'll be a reference that you can go back to at any point and say, oh, what did I do when I felt better? Because I feel bad again. So you can go back and find what you did and be able to do them again. And my favorite is the power of positive energy. Think positive. I know you've heard that a million times, but it's absolutely true. This helps you recalibrate your compass too, so that, you know, when you change your life towards the positive, the thought patterns that you need to come about, so that you can actually process the trauma. And you're not hung up on the negative. You're not hung up on what happened to you. You start thinking about, okay, this is not happening to me right now. It's not going to happen to me tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to do this. And then the next day I'm going to do this. And eventually you start getting to where the negative thoughts that you had are no longer there, because you're always looking forward. You're always positive. You look forward to the future. You're less likely to live in the past. It also affects those around you. Your relationships will improve, because when you are happy and looking forward to things, there's less stress between your spouse and you. There's less stress between your mom and you. There's less stress between your friends. It's a beautiful thing to see. So when it happens, it can actually speed up your healing process. When you're happier and the people around you are happier, you create a better support group. And most important in this whole thing is to put yourself first. You've had trauma. You're going to have to put yourself first and take control and get through this. There's plenty of help out there to help you. You're not alone, but it's going to be you that has to do it. So PTSD or not, this is something everyone needs to do. So when you put yourself first, then you will do the things that are needed to make you feel better. When you put yourself first, you'll be in a good place to be around others. When you put yourself first, you will heal. Part of how to do this is make a list of 100 things that you love to do. I know that sounds huge, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. And it can be as simple as drinking coffee, or walking in the rain, or going to the beach, or just, you know, taking a bubble bath. Whatever the list of 100 things that you love to do is, do 2 of them every day. They can be the same 2 things often, like Monday and Tuesday I drank coffee and took a bubble bath, you know, whatever it is, but make sure you mix it up some, so that you keep it fresh. You're doing something for you. Start to take care of yourself by getting exercise and eating better. As you're healing your brain and your body, you're going to need the right nutrients. That's the only thing that can help you. You get exercise, walking in the woods, just any exercise helps your brain feel better. And when you start to do these things, you start to get in better shape, and even that alone makes you feel better. Make sure you drink plenty of water. A lot of my problems came from not having enough water, and because of that I became dehydrated. My electrolytes got out of whack and made me feel horrible, and it was actually the one thing that's triggered my heart issues. But when you're dehydrated, there's so much that can happen. There's so much can go wrong with your body, your mind included. Your brain needs lots of water, so drink plenty of water. I mentioned this earlier. Treat yourself to a day spa or a day of fishing, just you, the whole day. Don't feel bad about putting yourself first, not even for a whole day or a whole week or whatever you need to do, because you're no good for anyone else if you don't take care of yourself. And if you're taking care of yourself, people will see that. They will see you healing. They will see you being better, and they realize that they need to put themselves first too in their lives. And when you do that, you're less likely to have problems between you and in relationships. Um, if you have trouble with codependency, this can help you deal with that when you start to realize that you're the one, you have control, you can do this, and you're taking care of yourself. You don't necessarily need anybody else. Um, you do need your support system, of course, just so that you know you're not alone and that you're on the right track, and somebody that can kind of keep you in check. But you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. Another thing that really helps is essential oils. I know I talked a little bit about the peppermint or whatever scent that you like that kind of snaps you out of your fears. But there's different ways that you can use essential oil. You can put them in a diffuser, warm them in a warmer, place oils on a tissue, the palm of your hand, the back of your neck, your wrist, wherever it's handy for you to be able to take a sniff. Associate good things with each aroma. Different aromas cause different things to happen in your body, so you can research about what you want them to do or what you're wanting to do and what oil will help you get there. But they help promote relaxation, and when you are relaxed, you heal. So here's a list of some oils that I use and that studies have shown that help deal with PTSD and stress and depression. And it's lavender and rose and chamomile. They can all help you relax. Orange, ylang ylang can help you relax. It's also good for your heart. Frankincense. There's a whole list that goes on and on. So research some of those. Find what you like, what you want to use, and believe that they work, because they do. Join a support group. I mentioned this a little bit ago. You're not alone. Lean on others. Listen, I mean, there's others going through what you're going through. They're learning to cope. Learn from them. Figure out how you want to do this. Ask around for groups if you don't know where they are. Look online. You may even find a Facebook group to join. There's some that's private that you can go and share some information, or at least I was part of a thyroid group that mostly what I did was read everybody's posts, and I got to see that I wasn't alone. I was trying, to flop around like a fish along with everybody else. But I also learned a great deal from what they were going through and what they were finding that was helping them and working for them. And some things I got to take back to my doctors and talk to them about, and some things I took to myself and learned and did a lot of things for. But here's a few sites that can help you. There's maketheconnection.net/PTSD, womenshealth.gov, mental health /mental health hotlines, and ptsdsupportgroups.com. That's very important, and it's also very important that you find a counselor that you trust. I went through counseling. It helped me tremendously. There's a lot of things that it didn't do that I had to do for myself, but a counselor is a great way to get there. So they even know of some support groups and can help lead you down that path. And finally, the depression and PTSD, there's so much suicide tied around this that I wanted to make sure that I called out that to let you know that this program is not a replacement for any traditional medicine or counseling. It works with these programs to help you heal faster in a holistic way. But if you feel suicidal at all, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. If you don't count or reach this number, at least talk to someone. Your life is worth too much. There's so much left for you to do. So please, 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 if you feel this way, seek help. There's help out there. You can do this. People are doing it every day. So I want to thank you for bearing with me. I'm glad you were here, and I hope that I've helped in some way and helped you to become a happier, healthier you. If you want more information, my website is thetraumahealer.mykajabi.com. I post different information, exercises, announcements, essential oils, positive thinking. I have something different all the time up there, so hopefully something there will help you. A little bit about my New You program. It's an 11-week intensive program that helps you deal with trauma, PTSD, anxiety, depression, and insomnia. It does include Reiki sessions, meditations, and many other holistic methods, and I have the information on my website as well. Or you can email me at thetraumahealer@gmail.com. Again, I wish you the very, very, very best. Hang in there if you're watching this video to try to help someone else. Hopefully this helps you understand some of what they're going through, and maybe you can help push them in the right direction to get some help. I wish you all the best. I love you guys, and that's it for today. Keep an eye out. I should be doing more videos soon.